live with the community. This is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development bi-weekly call. This happens every 2 weeks, and today happens to be April 11th. I'm so excited you're all here. So let's get into what we're going to talk about. We're going to have some updates on the community. We're going to talk about PNP.NET libraries, PowerShell. We're going to talk about Microsoft Teams Toolkit. We're going to see some updates on script samples, team samples, Power Platform samples, and then, of course, everybody's favorite time, picture time with those cameras. So get those cameras ready. Your fantastic faces are what we want to capture to show off the amazing community that we have. And then, of course, why we're all here for the three fantastic presenters of the day. Lesley's going to kick it off with Viva Wayfinder, simplified new hire journey. And then David's going to get into Swiss train timetable Copilot plugin. Say that 3 times fast. Excited for that. And then Matt's going to round it out with extended user properties in Copilot Studio. So we have got a fantastic, well-rounded session and community call for you all today. But first, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every one of you for the low, low cost of $0. These are all absolutely free. We've got community videos. We've got LinkedIn groups for discussions that you can collaborate with others in the community. We've got open source initiatives, sample galleries. We're going to see some of those amazing samples that have been contributed to by the community today. It covers things like team samples, SPFX, web parts, extensions, Power Platform, list formatting. The list, see what I did there, goes on and on and on. So you only need to remember one thing, and that is aka.ms/community/home. That will give you access to each and every one of our wonderful community samples. Again, all completely free, everybody, and all contributed to by amazing people like you. So it is open for your opportunities to contribute. Now, you're on this call because we hope you like calls, right? Well, we got more. The Microsoft 365 and the Power Platform community calls are plentiful. Let's start it off. On Tuesdays is the Microsoft speakers. That means you're going to get directly from the horse's mouth. Yep. Directly from the horse's mouth. So you're going to hear from those product managers and project managers. And then you're going to come into the monthly call, which is the Power Platform. Let me just mute everybody here. The Power Platform monthly call is available. That's happening next week, by the way. We have 3 fantastic presenters there. We've got our office add-ins, and then we've got our 2 sibling bi-weekly calls. The one you're on right now, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development Community, and then Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. All you got to do is go to aka.ms/community/calls. We encourage you to get the ICSs downloaded there so that you can add them to your calendar so that you don't miss a single second. But if you do, we record them. Don't worry, you'll be able to see them on demand. And in fact, you could binge watch them if you want. I know that's how I spend my weekends. I think that's normal, right? So let's see what's on the agenda for next Tuesday. On this call, we're going to have Salil talk about getting to know the new Microsoft List Forms experience. It's going to be, we want to make your list to get those list forms experience. And then Vesa, our favorite Vesa, dear Vesa, tell me about the introduction of new chart cards for Viva Connections with SPFX 1.19. which allows you to build dynamic dashboards. So this is very, very cool. It's on the 16th of April on Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific. So definitely get that on your agenda. Now, you may be looking at our presenters today going, they are really showing some cool stuff, and I promise you they will be. And you may be thinking, I got cool stuff to share. We welcome each and every one of you to do this. Now, this is your community call. This is not Microsoft on some mountain saying, this is what we want you to see. We want you to show off what you are passionate about. So please don't get overwhelmed thinking that you have to show a flux capacitor, which is what makes time travel possible, right? We want you to show everything that you're passionate about. So fill out this form, aka.ms/community/request/demo, rolls right off the tongue, but we got a link for you in the chat in case you don't remember it. And fill it out, and we'll get with you. We'll schedule you. It is only about 10 to 12 minutes, as you'll see, 12 to 14 minutes maybe, but don't feel overwhelmed by it. We can even work together with you on it if you feel like you need some support, and we could co-present with you as well. So we got your back. We're here for you. We want you to show off those cool things you're building because I guarantee others will find value in it. And as you're looking at all of our samples and all the opportunities and resources available to you, we are getting this sharing is caring thing back up and running, I promise. So we are scheduling some stuff out today. We're limiting it to try to focus on what the community is asking for the most, which is, hey, how do I contribute? What's that GitHub thing? What's a pull request? I don't know. Well, let's figure it out together. These are live sessions, hands-on. They are safe space opportunities to ask questions, which means that you don't have to worry about it being recorded. I know sometimes when I'm thinking, does somebody already know the answer to this? Should I even be asking this question? Now it's going to be recorded forever and they're going to show my kids. Well, don't worry. We're not going to show anybody. It's safe space. We're going to collaborate and we're going to learn together. So it's a great opportunity. All right. And then, of course, when you do contribute, what are you going to get? A badge. Or if you're Natalie, you're going to get a badger. These are badges that are officially accredited and powered by Credly. Yes, that Credly that allows you to associate these badges to your LinkedIn profile, your Twitter account, put them on the fridge, send them to mom. Everybody loves them. They are absolutely here to support you and the work that you are doing. So it is 100% free. In fact, as well, we are absolutely renewing our account with Credly. In fact, we were just sharing emails on that today with them. So we are excited. We're working on some new badges to be to provide that opportunity to be recognized for the work that you're doing. So all you got to do is opt in, ak.ms/community/recognition. It's 100% free, and we will track you forever and all the great work that you're doing. You don't got to worry about it. We'll do all the hard work. All right, let's get into some project-specific updates, and we're going to kick it off with Bert.
Awesome, thank you, David. For PNP.NET, for the framework library, or older library, I would say, we had two really cool changes. One by Koen, where we added support for using managed identity. So now you can use Authentication Manager and managed identity together in your Azure Functions, for example, to do cool stuff. Thanks to that, Koen. Then Florian did really good implementation in the token parser. Token parser is a key component when you provision templates, and he did a lot of work to make performance better, especially in multilingual scenarios. So if you, depending on that, go check out the latest version. I just merged it today. Thanks, Florian. On the CrossDK side, we had two smaller bug fixes. When you check in or approve a file, you can provide a comment. That comment now can also have like a character return or a special character in there that is fixed. And the other fix is with the update list item call that we have. We use validate update list item as the REST call, and that returns information about like, hey, this date format that you provided us is not valid, which we ignored previously. So that's fixed now. So now it's behaves the same as using the add, which is good. And then overall, I think usage keeps on growing. We had top usage this month from a request perspective. So yeah, thanks for using .NET. And let's move to PowerShell then. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. That is amazing, by the way. 57 billion requests in 1 month. Dr. Evil would even be jealous. So let's get into PowerShell. Got him. Take it away.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Bert. Yep, in PNP PowerShell. So for those of you who don't know PNP PowerShell, it's a PowerShell library that you can use, PowerShell module that you can use to interact with various M365 services like SharePoint, Teams, Entra ID, and so many more. So in the latest nightly builds, we added two new commands, get PNP library file version batch delete job, and the same we added for the site command as well. So it basically checks the status of the file-based version expiration, and yeah, it's kind of a part of the SharePoint premium capability. Besides that, we also improved copy PNP folder. So now you can upload the entire folder from your local file system right into a SharePoint document library. And it also supports recursive folders as well inside your local file systems. Another cool command that we added was unlock PNP sensitivity label encrypted file. So if your file has been encrypted using a sensitivity label, you can remove that using this particular commands. What else? We also improved copy PNP list to better support lookup columns, and also set PNP command received quite a few new parameter additions as well. So yep, that's all. So if you run into any particular issues or anything, just feel free to reach out to us on the discussion forum or on the issue list. Yep, that's basically from my end. Over to you, David.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Got him. Let's move into Teams. Ooh, flying away. Teams Toolkit with John Miller.
Thanks, David. Teams Toolkit is some pro code tools that we build to build Teams apps, but you can also build some other cool stuff like custom copilots. We're working on that, and also extensions for Outlook. And soon you'll be able to also build add-ins for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So look for that. And then probably next week, we're going to release the extension for VS Code. We have some recent releases here, put some bullet points on some new stuff there. And then 17.10 for VS is also in preview. Right now, I don't have any bullet points for that on here, but there's some cool new features in there for .NET developers. And we have kind of changed the way we handle having multiple projects there, which has been a pain point in that. So if you have looked at that in the past, it might be a good look to look in the preview. Take a look at that and see some of the changes we've done there. And if you have feedback, you can chat with me following that link, or chat with the team on GitHub. So happy to hear if you love it or if you hate it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, John. All right, friends, let's get into script samples. Paul is out, so I'll cover this for him today. This is by or none one of the easiest ways to contribute, friends. We all have those utility scripts that are useful in a variety of ways. So we got some new scenarios using PNP PowerShell, local orphan team store terms by Casper, GoComo on Query Advanced CSOM properties with PNP PowerShell, and M365 Consultants Script Kit. Rolls right off the tongue, like the rhyme. Change retention labels by Nick. So definitely get involved with Paul, and you get a badge for it too. We were just working on some new look badges for this particular project yesterday, so be on the lookout for those that have contributed, and you are more than welcome. Paul's a great guy, so reach out to him to get involved. Next up is Microsoft Teams samples. Marcus is back with an amazing new sample action message extension with data search. Marcus continues to impress and provide tons of value in these samples. We appreciate everything he's doing, and you can too. So check out all the samples and what's available there. If you have any questions, reach out to Bob German. He will absolutely get you set up and is a great guy to get and collaborate with. And then last but not least is our Power Platform samples with Jet Setter Kate, who's just landed. Kate, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Thank you very much, David, and hello, everyone. And I'm really excited to share two cool new samples that we got recently. First up, Shahir gave us an advanced validation tool. It helps check if the information in forms in your Power Apps Canvas app is correct and complete. And if something wrong, it tells you what you need to fix. It makes using forms much better and improve user experience. Definitely need to incorporate in your applications. And next, Shahir Sexton made a color converter for Power Apps. It's a great tool for changing colors easily. Even it provides you capabilities to set transparency in both RGB and hex formats, which is awesome. So big thanks to Shahir and Charles. These samples are completely free and easy to use and super helpful. I encourage everyone to try them out and moreover to share your own stuff too. Sharing and caring, and let's grow together. Back to you, David.
Woo, excellent. Thank you, Kate. Excellent. Check out the links in the chat for all these initiatives, everybody. But now let's move on to the picture time. So get those cameras turned on. Vesa will take over and record all of your fantastic faces.
Yes, I'm here. Give me 1 second. Somewhere in my... Something is playing somewhere in one of my tabs. Something is playing, and this is horrible situation. So before I can share, I need to get. Oh, I found it. You know, the classic situation where you can hear the sound, but you have no idea where it's coming from. Story of my life.
That was me, Vesa. Sorry,
yeah,
I know.
True.
It's into.
I know.
Cool. So why is that voice talking? I thought I muted that.
Oh, it's that. Okay, cool.
David. Oh.
David. I know. Good to have you back. Cool. Anyway, we are a bit pixelated today, apparently. Let's see if that will get a bit better. Let's wait a few more seconds. We do have 50 seats in a room. I'm not going to enable my camera to avoid any further pixelations. Clearly, it's not a fiber thing which is causing this. I can see Hugo waving hands already, impatiently, I guess, and Copilot on the third row from the up. This is really, really cool. Let me get recording on. We're not yet recording. 1 second. And we are soon good to go. There we go. One more row. All of a sudden appears, and let's do 3, 2, 1, and hand waving. Oh, there's a brilliant people in front row. Hey, excellent, brilliant. You never know what's going to happen within this together mode, so this is good. This is getting a bit scary already, but thank you, everybody. We'll grab a GIF animation out of that, and back to you, David.
Excellent. The voices and the masks should make for an excellent sleeping experience for you tonight, Vis, I'm sure. Yes. No nightmares at all.
No.
Okay, everybody. All right, excellent. Let's get back into it. We're going to kick it off with our three amazing presenters of the day. Our first is Lesley Crook, Viva Wayfinder, a simplified new hire journey. So Lesley, feel free to take on over the screen share and kick it off.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. Can you see which version?
I can see your slide presenter view. So you just want to swap there, and I think you're good to go.
Okay. How's that?
That is good, I think. Yep.
Okay, so hi everyone, Lesley Crook. I'm in the UK. I think of myself as the comsiest person in tech and the techiest person in comms. My background isn't tech, it's actually internal communications. So I love everything about the employee experience, employee engagement. You can find me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn profile if you want to know more about me and connect with me. But this presentation is actually partially about the LinkedIn graph and how that will be integrating with Viva Insights and Viva Learning, and for a new feature that's coming through Viva, which is called Skills in Viva, which should be GA towards the end of the year or early next year. So I will go into that towards the end if I haven't run out of time. So Viva Wayfinder, it's about closing the digital skills gap, and it's looking at the new hire process, which could be well overwhelming in most organizations. So this is something that needs improving in every single organization around the world, and that's why I think I've been invited to join this community call, because it needs, I think, lots of heads around it from lots of different kind of disciplines within the Microsoft ecosystem. So I'm talking about Viva, but I think the Power Platform community can do lots of come together and really help drive this forward around creating a really brilliant new hire process within Viva, but also with Copilot as well. So are you struggling to recruit your top talent? I'm not going to go through all of these, but the features and benefits of what I've pulled together is a proven framework. I've had the endorsement by some people in Microsoft, one of them's on this call, an integrated approach, and it takes the employee experience into human capital management. So where I've kind of like architected this out in a CDX tenant, I've used all of these products, and I'm, as I've said, Skills in Viva is coming, that sits between learning and insights. It will include SAP SuccessFactors, ServiceNow, Workday, and Copilot in Viva. And I think, as I've already said, the Power Platform as well. To roll this out inside of an organisation, this is where I really come in around the use of adoption and change management. So that's what I'm a specialist in. And then, so this solution, this idea of this, Vesa has been super supportive, and also John Mile, who is the product lead in Microsoft for Viva Insights and Viva Learning. So this is the framework of Viva. Some of you might be familiar with it, but for this session, I'm not going to be talking about Glint or Pulse. It also includes Answers in Viva, which is a feature that sits between Viva Engage and Viva Topics, which is retiring, but we do have SharePoint Search and Copilot, which is replacing that. And Skills in Viva sits between Viva Learning and Viva Insights. So the employee experience, I actually got this model from Kevin McDonald, who's on sitting on the call as well. So I think this is a great model. So the Viva suite, for the employee experience, it sits between, it comes into action between when you are onboarded and you are a new hire. Then we go into the part of employee engagement, upskilling, training, and all of these good things that go on inside, hopefully go on inside a business. It could be that you might be there 3 months, didn't work out, but you might be there 20 years. So that's kind of like the employee experience. And I think by now all of us have gone through this. So Viva Wayfinder, this is really simple, guys. It's not rocket science. So all I've done is taken the Viva products and I've sorted them in a sensible order that maybe a new hire could be introduced to. So we've got Viva goals for setting your objectives and key results within a team of people that is aligned to why the company exists and why you have been given that role inside of the organisation. Then from there, you should be introduced to the connection side, Viva Engage, your social network to share your news and your, a perfect place to do Copilot change management, but also for your pet photographs as well. Then have a look at your insights. We've got here, personal insights, Viva Insights, Premium, and we've got Glint, help new team members spend time more productively, avoiding burnout and getting those enterprise-wide surveys across the business, just in time. And then we've got growth, and we've got here Viva Learning. So this is an LXP, a learning experience platform that can bring in, integrates with learning management systems. And we've got lots of these. So the white signifies product groups, and the red signifies features within within maybe 2 product groups. So that's why we've got Answers in Viva and Skills in Viva rather than Viva goals or Viva Engage. So these are the partner systems, the partner companies that are part of Viva Learning. There's probably even more of them now that have been acquired or in partnerships with Microsoft. So this is building and building. This is the Viva home experience, and you can look this up yourselves. Oops, I've clicked accidentally there. If you look up viva.cloud.microsoft, you can see how this displays in your own organization. So I don't think many people actually know that that exists, but that might be something to do after the call. See what you've already got switched on, and you get this beautiful dynamic view of Viva in your business. So Viva Wayfinder, as I've kind of like designed it, is this little symbol here. It's just this little star. So I've created a card here for the new hire process, and it jumps onto this. When you click on it, it jumps onto this employee onboarding SharePoint out of the box site, and this is where I basically walk the new hire through the Viva Wayfinder. And I've made fun here. I've tried to, everything I do in adoption and change management, I try to make it fun, make it really personal to this particular organization. I'm not going to go through now. You can probably briefly read how I've laid this out, but I've made this as fun as possible around using the product areas. I've also added in here 6 simple steps into Microsoft 365 as part of that new hire process, because you have people joining organizations that they don't even know what the difference is between OneDrive and SharePoint. We all know this can be a real issue, but we're talking about Copilot. We're taking them off into the stars, and they don't even know, how to manage their files appropriately. So let's give them some simple training and, upskill with the digital literacy inside organizations. So this is that SharePoint template that I use just out of the box. And this is what it looks like. You can have a news article. There's this simple card. This is really, really simple stuff. So then Viva Wayfinder meets the users where they are, make it mobile, sociable. That's the whole point of kind of like Viva. It can be, used by anyone's mobile because of multi-factor authentication and endpoint manager and Intune. This is how it displays out on your mobile. So what I've added in here as well is a planner task by the hiring manager, so that it's been as a little checklist there for the new hire to have a look at the Viva goals with the manager, then go on to Viva Engage and introduce themselves, then step into Viva Learning to see what skills, see mandatory training and digital training that they should do. Then there's Viva Insights, and then I put on there, please ping me on chat if you need anything. But then I took it a stage further. We're using Loop in chat. So this is a loop to that planner task. So on that first day, we've got here Megan Bowen has sent a message to Megan, the new, I'm getting mixed up with who my personas are, but it's basically telling that new hire, hello, these are the tasks I've got set out for you. Let's talk later on in the day or tomorrow because I'm in busy meetings. So from a hiring manager recurring actions point of view of this simple new hire process, so it's just basically 3 steps, because this might be for maybe a retail business where they are bringing in new hires on, for seasonal work or, for short-term work. So this is for a person that might be going again and again to bring in new people. So basically, it's 3 simple steps. Put in that IT request that might be out on ServiceNow, and ServiceNow is integrated with one of the companies that integrates with Teams and Viva. So assign the new hire job to planner for that Wayfinder task and adjust the start and end date, and then use Loop as that part of that integration as well. So I used I created the little logo using Microsoft Designer. You don't have to use that. Blend it in as you like. Redesign is appropriate. Here's another little image I used here as well to give that kind of idea of a Wayfinder. So I don't know how much time I've got left. I just probably need another minute. But skills in Viva is landing. This is a thing. It's coming from LinkedIn Graph with Microsoft Graph. It's owned by John Mile. This was announced by Microsoft in November at Ignite. So this session is there if you want to go and have a look on it. It's going to be pretty powerful stuff. There is a video. I'm not going to show it now, but it will be, David's going to put it in the chat. It's about a minute and a half, and it's a Microsoft video that shows you how skills in Viva is working. So this is what my skills look like on LinkedIn, and you can add, I think, up to 50 skills, which is really powerful when you're looking for a new job, because it's going to be pulling through from those algorithms. And then this is how it's going to pull through. This is an example report that I've got from Microsoft. So this is where Viva Insights is going to be working with the LinkedIn graph. So this particular one is looking at skills related to machine learning in an organization that's got 1,240 people. And I'm just coming to the end of this. So this is basically the same model that I showed before, which is taking what is the Viva employee experience into now human capital management, where it's going right out onto LinkedIn to recruit that top talent. So this is where I'm seeing, and I've had the endorsement, this is where Viva is now going. It's shifting into human capital management with the fact that you can bring in Workday and ServiceNow. So look at all the stuff, all the amazing products that are in, at our fingertips. So I'm just going to round off by saying we can't be specialists anymore, even though we are amazing specialists, probably in the Power Platform, everything. I think we need to shift to being generalists and being, a real focus on one particular area, but having awareness of all these other touch points in the Microsoft ecosystem. We've all been forced down that Copilot track, but equally, there is these other amazing tools and products and features that are coming through. So I'm not going to read that off, but this is basically a little kind of like what I'm hearing as a consultant around this is what the customers are wanting and needing at this time, but there could be more things here. But I did put under there, the last one is develop a fully integrated, simple new hire solution. Yeah, so I did spot this the other day. This is my last slide, everyone. So it's bringing in LinkedIn, Microsoft 365, PowerPoint, SharePoint to let's look. You really brainy, clever people that are on this call and in this community around developing a brilliant new hire journey. And I saw on here that we've got Copilot Studio will allow access to systems like SAP, Workday and ServiceNow. So that's where I've been saying for the last couple of months, this is going into human capital management. So that's it. Did I go over time, David?
No, you are fly flag. We got a little time left, so we'll give those to the next presenter. But you did fantastic. Thank you. And everybody, this is Lesley's first presentation on the call. She's certainly not a newbie to presenting, but obviously such a quality presentation. But our first time on the call. So thank you for all of that, Lesley.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. And another first-time presenter on the call, David Schneider, is going to talk to us about Swiss Train Timetable Copilot plugin. So, David, whenever you're ready, feel free to take on over the screen.
Cool. Thank you, David. I won't even try to talk with the same speed and energy as you, but let's start. I will share my screen. I'm Swiss, and Switzerland is not only famous for mountains, chocolate, and cheese, but we're also famous for our trains. After the Japanese, we are the nation that travels the most by train. And because it's quite a small country, also in my daily life as a consultant, I traveled a lot by train. So I use the train to go to work, but I also use the train to visit customers. And often it happened that I go with a colleague to a customer, and then we always had to arrange which train do we take, where do we meet. And that was quite a hassle because you send around print screens of the train table website and all that stuff. And I was thinking there should be another way, and I created a proof of concept by integrating an open data API as a Copilot plugin. And this is what I want to show you today. Maybe a few information about myself. I'm an MVP and regional directors. I'm based in Barcelona, but I work for Swiss customers. If you want to get in touch with me, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. Now let's have a look about the solution. So as I said, there is an open data API that provides train timetable data. And what I created is a backend on Azure based on the bot framework, and then a Teams message extension that allows you to send like this train timetable in a Teams message, and the same message extension can be used also as a Microsoft 365 Copilot plugin. But yeah, let's have a look how this looks like in real life. So here I am in Teams, and I can like open my message extension, and then I can start typing and looking up for a query. So I can say, okay, a connection, let's say from Bern to Zurich, and then in the backend, like this API is called, and I get like some train connection. But I can also say, okay, no, not right now, but tomorrow at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I get these connections here. I can click on one, and then I have this nice adaptive card with all the details. I can even buy a ticket, which brings me to the website of the Swiss railway company. And I can share that with my colleague, and then we know, okay, tomorrow we're going to take the train at 9 o'clock. So this is like the basic functionality that we maybe all know. Maybe just one thing to mention is that like the query that I type here, this is like kind of analyzed by, let's say, Aarau and another Swiss town. This is analyzed by Azure OpenAI. So we call Azure OpenAI and ask, please extract information about the start and the end location, and like maybe also so information about the preferred travel time. So that's what we maybe know, but the same message extension can be used as a Copilot plugin. And here is where the fun starts. So first, you need to activate that plugin. It's already activated, and then you can kind of ask the same query, like let's say SBB, which is the name of the railway company, and then just type in Bern to Zurich. And then the Microsoft 365 Copilot knows, hey, now I need to call this plugin, and I need to like extract information. I need to like get that information from the backend and then present that in with natural language to the user back. That obviously takes some time. We're gonna wait until it's done. But yeah, here we get like real-time informations, and when I hover over, I have the same adaptive card. And I activated the developer mode. And with this, I get some information. I see, okay, which plugins are enabled, and then which function was kind of matched to my query. And I see also like that the function was executed successfully. So this is very helpful if you play around with that. Just type developer on, and then this mode will be enabled, and you have some details, and you know when your if and when your plugin is get called. Now let's have a look at the code. What you need to do. This is a project in Visual Studio 2022, based with the team toolkits. What you need to do is create a message extension and make sure that the manifest has version 1.16, and then to use it as a Copilot plugin, you need just to describe what does your message extension do. You need to describe what does your function do, your command do, and then you also need to describe the different parameters. So normally in a message extensions, I only have one parameter, but with the new manifest version, you can add multiple parameters. So here we have like 4 parameters: the start location, end location, date, and time. And we have like the description for all these parameters. And then this like kind of magic happens that Copilot maps my inputs, my prompt to these parameters, and calls my message extensions from there. The code itself, we don't dig too much into it because it's just like this message extension that is called. If it's just one parameter, I know it's called as a Teams message extension, just and I like extract the information using Azure OpenAI, and otherwise I have the 4 parameters, and I can use this data to call the OpenAI, Open Data API and get back some train information. Now let's get back to the slide. Apparently, I talked quite a lot, quite fast, so because I'm almost done. Just one thing that really amazes me about like Copilot and the integration of this plugin is that kind of human language becomes the API layer between applications. So before, when we wanted to kind of connect to a system, we had to kind of write code. But nowadays, what we need to do, we just need to put a proper description, and then Copilot kind of wires that together and knows, okay, when I come with a prompt and I'm looking up a train journey, then I need to call kind of this command, and then this calls this code. So that's pretty amazing. And I'm thinking we're at the beginning of a journey, like Copilot is evolving every day, and I'm really looking forward to what kind of solution that we can build in the future using this technology. If you want to play around with that, there are 2 good links to start. On one hand, you have a Microsoft Learn page, which explains how to build these message extensions. And then also very helpful are some samples on GitHub. I will paste the links later to the chat, so this is the place to start. And with this, I'm already done, and thanks for the opportunity to have to present that nice proof of concept here in this round.
Awesome, David. Very good work. Really appreciate it. That's very useful. And you're right. We're right at the beginning of a lot of this. So it's exciting to see what everyone's building, how they're thinking about it, how it can be implemented and utilized. Really appreciate it. And again, everybody, this was David's first presentation on the call. So let's give him a little bit of community love and appreciation. So we really do appreciate everyone coming in and leaning in and sharing with the community their passion. So great job. Okay, well, our last but certainly not least presenter is Matt Jimison, extending user properties in Copilot Studio. Matty, take it away.
Oh, nice. I haven't heard Matty for a while. Thank you, David. All right, let's jump into it. So we're going to be talking about user properties in Copilot Studio, but first, just a little bit about me. I'm Matt Jimison. I've got my bachelor's in computer graphics. I've been doing a lot in IT now for actually 20 plus years, playing all kinds of different roles from architect to managing director. I love a lot of different programming languages, and I actually got started with all the Microsoft stuff inside Microsoft 365 before it was 365 with SharePoint 2007 back in 2008. And finally, I am the head of the Intelligent Solutions and Custom 365 Apps at Takeda Pharmaceuticals, where I get to work with a lot of great people like Chris Kent and Hugo Bernier. So that is a little bit about me. And I am an MVP in the biz app space for Copilot Studio and Power Automate. So our scenario today is really pretty simple. Right now, if you're looking at Copilot Studio, you're going to get out of the box several user-based properties. You're going to get things like the display name of the user that's logged in, their email, first name, last name, etc. And it's really helpful because it helps you create a personalized experience. So if you want to call somebody by their name when you output a message, you can do that. If you need someone's email address or user ID to send to Power Automate or do something with, you can do that too, which is awesome. The purpose really, though, of what we're going to be looking at is what about other things? What if I have other properties that I would like to be able to use as we start to think about just building more and more generative AI-based journeys, and even just what we saw. What if I wanted to understand maybe where someone was located so that I could, by default, start to pass those properties in? We just want to create really more of a personalized experience. So our goals and what we're going to look at quickly today, one, we want to extend those available user properties across topics so that we can use them wherever and whenever we need to. Two, we want to be able to add new properties in the future. So the idea is that right now we're going to pull in 4 new properties, but what if there are other things that we want to pull in later? The idea is it should be flexible. And then last but not least, we don't want to go get these properties more than we need to. So this idea of caching and not having to, every time someone is referencing one, we go get it, right? So we want to keep it. All right, that is it as far as slides go. That's it, it's over. All right, but the demo just begins. So we're going to go ahead and create a new Copilot, and we're going to call this, we will call this user demo. And we're going to pick off the lesson topics. We're just going to avoid that, give it a second here. And once our Copilot is out of the oven, we will get started. And so while we're waiting for this, I have already built a Power Automate flow to save some time. And I'm calling that flow ensure user. All I'm doing is I'm passing in the user email address of the user that's logged in. I'm using just the out of the box get user profile and Power Automate. I'm compiling an object that has properties where I'm going to bring in their city, their state, their country, and their department. So right now, these are 4 properties that are pretty common across environments, but are not properties that are going to be available by default. And then last thing I do is I essentially turn that into a string and send it back to Power Virtual Agents or Copilot Studio. Now, the important thing to note here is that there are only 3 kinds of types of variables I can send back or send in: text, numbers, and Booleans. So in this way, since I'm working with more of a complex object, I'm going to go to default to text, and then we'll see what we do with it on the other side to make it work more like an object again. Okay, so now we've actually got our bot and it's ready to go. And so the first thing we're going to do is create a new topic from blank. You can call this whatever we want. I like to call ensure user because I'm ensuring that we have the information about the user that we need. And so I'm going to call an action, and let's look at that ensure user. So that's the one that we need. I'm going to pass in, again, the logged in user's email address. So let's find that and just click that, which is good. And then now I've got by default an output, and it's going to be this user object, and it's going to be named after the output variable there as well. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to make this global. And then the other thing, so now I've got a string, right? And that's helpful, but again, if I want to work with it as a property-based thing, I need to do more. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy and paste something else from another screen. And let's see here. Let's paste and see if that works. Okay, so now I'm creating a new global.user record. And what we can see I'm doing here is I'm actually going to take that string that's coming back from Power Automate, and I'm going to parse it, and then I'm going to essentially bring back the text versions of the city, the state, the country, and the department. The thing about it is at this point, and this gets back to the caching, is if we were to reference this topic every time we wanted to get this information, right now it would go call Power Automate and bring all that information in. We're not going to actually do that. We're never actually going to reference this topic, though. What we're going to do is something that I think is not necessarily well documented or understood, but Power Virtual Agents or Copilot Studio has the ability to tell someone that this variable needs to get its value from this node on this topic if it doesn't have a value. So we're going to do a little bit of magic here to make that work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're clicking on the string that comes back, and we can see the reference here coming from ensure user. We're going to click this, and we're going to say get the value from this node if it's empty. This is going to be the key that when any other things reference global.user object and Copilot Studio sees, hey, I don't have a value for that yet, it's going to say, then you need to go here and you need to get it. This is a critical step. There are other ways you could do this. You could reference this topic inside of every other topic. You could do a condition, see if it's blank, but doing it this way, it's actually a lot more silent and it's easier. And I'm going to show you at the end of the demo something with generative actions where we know we can't reference topics, that it's just going to work better. So I'm basically saying you're going to get your value here if anything references it. And then the other key here is with this particular variable, the same thing. And this is the one that we really honestly care about because this is the one that's got the typed object. So this one is already actually set up because of the way I copy and pasted it in here. And so it's saying the same thing, right? I need to get the value from this particular node. What's going to happen is we're going to reference this thing. This thing is going to reference that thing. And so it's going to, at that point, say, oh, I need to call this flow to get that information. But when it has a value, this topic's not going to get called, this flow's not going to get called, and it's only going to be done once. When the session expires, we're going to be able to go get and refresh the values, but otherwise, we're actually never calling this topic. And in fact, because of that, you might say, well, if I'm not calling this topic, and what if I want to make sure that I never call this topic? We can even go in here to the trigger and we can say, this is just going to be a redirect. The reason I'm doing this and suggesting it is when we turn on dynamic chaining, that's going to take over for the trigger phrases that we have. And that's going to be the LLM taking descriptions for all of the topics and trying to say, based on what the user said, which one of these should I go to? I don't ever want it to call this topic. Literally, the only reason this topic exists is the creation and execution of the flow to the string variable and then parsing to the object variable. So I'm going to go ahead and click save on that. And then once that's saved, then we will start. And because we've typed out all of our different values down here, once we're finished, we should be able to reference them. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the greeting topic. And so we can say, let's actually do the start conversation topic, because that's what we're seeing over here. So I'm going to add a new message, and I'm going to reference, and I see that you're in, and then we're going to say that we want the country that someone's in, right? So again, right now, there's nothing I've done anywhere that actually calls that or would set that. It's all handled in those variable settings and saying you need to get your value from here. So we've saved it. We're going to go ahead and refresh it. And then what's happening is you're going to see just a little bit of a delay. And the reason for that is it's actually going and it's now calling that Power Automate flow. And in fact, if I go over here and refresh this, and we'll go ahead and we don't need to make any saves here. If I look at my history run, then I should see something. Look, 5 seconds ago, it got called. And now if I go back over here, I see that you're in the United States. So we've already got the values. We can use them wherever we want. Now, the last thing that we're going to do is, just to give you an idea of what could you do with this and with generative AI, we're going to add an action, and we're going to go to the MSN weather. And so the idea for this is that we want to be able to show someone the weather where they live. And if we know where they live, we don't need to ask them where that is. So we're going to add just the MSN weather action, which is a great one for sort of demonstrating this capability. And we're going to make a few changes. So we're going to edit, for one, on the units here. We actually don't want to have that be asked. We just want to make sure that this is going to be, let's see here, if I click this, we want to set that to I, because we want things in Fahrenheit. So that's up to you. You could certainly not do that, and you could have it prompt it, but a lot of times I think based on where users are, that may work best. Now, the location. Again, normally we might say, how's the weather in California? How's the weather here or there? But we want to just understand, well, they're in a certain place, so we'd rather show them. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to say set as a value, and I'm going to now pull that back up, go to formula, and I'm going to do the concatenation function, and I'm going to say global.user.city, and then I'm going to put a comma and a space, and then I'm going to say global.user.state. And again, I've got that nice IntelliSense. And so I'm going to save that, and I'm just going to click save, and I'm going to go ahead and click finish. And once this is done, there's one other thing that we need to do, which is to make sure that dynamic chaining is actually turned on. So I'm going to go over to settings. I'm going to go over to generative AI, and I'm going to wait for this page to load. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to say dynamic chaining with generative actions is on. This is what allows the bot, again, to determine where a user should be routed based on what they say, and not rely on you having to build trigger phrases. And all of this could still be done if we built a weather topic and we triggered that off of what the user said. We could absolutely do that. But what we want to have is the experience of, we've got these actions and we just want to have them called automatically based on what someone says. Okay, so now with that, we'll just refresh the conversation one more time. And we're going to go ahead and say, how's the weather? What I also want to do is so we can see here, right, what happened was the weather in Indianapolis, Indiana, that's where I'm at. And so that actually came in. And if we look at dynamic chaining, we can see it knew from this how's the weather that we wanted to call the get current weather tool. We did a hard-coded I here for the units, and you can see it pulled in that variable. And even if we had never tried to say, I see that you're in the US, with that idea of getting the initialization set, it's always going to go there when we need to. And so you can use this in actions, you can use this in topics, you can use it wherever you need to. So that's it in a nutshell.
Very, very cool stuff, Matt. That is really, really great, complex stuff that you laid out very nicely in a very orderly fashion. A couple questions, since we do have a minute or two, actually, do you have this in a blog post?
I do not yet, but I will.
All right, there you go. See the power of persuasion. All you got to do is ask, and Matt's gonna give it to you. So excellent. All right. Well, let's share back out the slides here, and we can wrap this call up. Give everybody back a little time in their day. Okay, well, thank you all of our presenters, Lesley, David, Matt, fantastic job by all three of you, especially two presenters that are first time, excellent job, and Matt bringing it with the extending user properties in Copilot Studio. Really appreciate all of the effort that everybody puts in, especially those who attend, because you're taking time out of your day to learn, and we're doing that together. So thank you very much. If you'd like to get more involved, we do have some additional resources in the community where you can collaborate with other like-minded and passionate individuals. The first is our Discord channel, or Discord server, I should say. 1,800 plus members now, so it's absolutely free to join. It's kind of a great, cool one-stop shop to be able to talk about all the variety of community interactions, projects, resources, all in one place on a variety of ways and opportunities. And you can tell your kids you're on Discord, so everybody likes that, right? Get a little street cred with the kids. We also would love to get some feedback from you on these community calls. Let our management know that they are valuable to you and you're finding value in attending these. Also, let us know what you think works, what doesn't work. If you're liking it and you've already rated and provided feedback, go ahead and do it again. It helps us to show there's consistent satisfaction on these calls, and we appreciate everyone who takes the time to do that. All right, the recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community YouTube channel. You can access that at ak.ms/community/videos. If you subscribe with the link with the YouTube account and channel, you will be alerted as soon as it's available, as soon as it drops. You're also going to be told in Teams that the recording is ready and you'd love to access it. Problem is, unless you're working for Microsoft, you're not going to be able to. So it'll just end up in tears and bad feelings and blue screens of death, and nobody wants that. So go subscribe to YouTube, and we will absolutely let you know as soon as it drops. You can also follow us on Twitter or LinkedIn to get those updates. Our next Microsoft 365 and Power Platform bi-weekly call is 2 weeks from today, same bat time, same bat channel, April 25th. And the next Viva Connection SharePoint Framework is next week, 1 week from today. So get those onto your calendar. We'd love to have everybody here, ak.ms/community/calls. We'll give you access to all those beautiful resources. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time.